we are here to help entrepreneurs either start business or grow your already existing business. I'm here with an entrepreneur guru, my friend Liddell.
Typically, tangible assets hold their value versus non-tangible assets. I'm not against stocks at all, period. I just like for my money to be backed by something that's tangible, physical, that I can go see it and feel it's mine.
What's good, y'all? It's your partner. We back in this thing, and we are here for the Countermove. This is where we look at things from a wide perspective. We kind of look at what's going on in the marketplace and also within our society, begin to lean in and reason together, push one another, but also the goal is to look at things from a wise perspective so we can begin to apply proper principles so we get the type of results that we actually want. So welcome to this edition of To the Countermove. Guys, we're going to continue our discussion concerning the cost of college. And as you guys saw on the previous Countermove, we talked about the rising cost of college and how these colleges are getting away with highway robbery, to be honest with you, concerning them actually paying zero in taxes and them having these endowment accounts, guys. This was kind of concerning to me, and I thought it'd be a little bit more wiser for us to kind of go a little bit deeper for us to really begin to look at it and look at colleges from an authentic standpoint, not to bash any colleges at all, because colleges for some people are great. They're wonderful for them to go to. But I want you to understand exactly what you're getting into, okay? Once you understand the proper picture and the proper context, you can make an informed and wise decision. So, again, I got to bring in my partner, my man's in them, Pastor McDavid. He actually did a second video going a little bit deeper into the context of college and also how much salaries people are actually making with these type of degrees, okay? So let's dive right into this thing. Here we go. Let's go get it in real fast, guys. And I'm stop and start so we can kind of digest what he's talking about. So let's go. Let's get it.
I want to share with you some disturbing data about a college education, a college degree today, just to see how you react to it. Did you know the average price of a house in 1980 was $64,000 and it's $336,000? That is an uptick of 425%. Did you know the average price of a car in 1980 was $7,000? Today it's $47,000. That's an increase of 571%. But did you know the average cost of college from 1980 till today has increased, ready? 1,200%.
Take that in. 1,200% is the rise of cost when it comes to college. That's ridiculous. Let's keep going.
By the way, inflation from 1980 till today is 236%. Cost of college tuition, 1,200%.
That's not by mistake, guys. Come on. So it's outpacing inflation now, the cost of college. You can't make this up. Let's go.
Let me get this straight. Income's only $217, $220.
Wow.
Tuition for college is 1,200%, 1,000% more. How can the average American afford to send their kids to college or the student to pay for it? We're going to talk about that today.
So, guys, yes, sir.
Okay, so before
now, while he's doing this, guys, I want to come back to me real quickly here. We got to look at, guys, of what's really going on here. This ain't making no sense. So the rise of college is outpacing inflation and housing, and there was another category he had in there as well. This is not by accident. Take that in. Digest that. That's real. Okay? Let's unpack how this is happening, okay? Here we go. Let's go back to it real quickly. There we go. Let's go back to it.
You're going to right now, let's ask a few questions to see if it's really worth it, and then let's make a decision. But if you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with others. 5 things we're going to talk.
Now, I can tell you this here. If you want to get this unadulterated as far as unfiltered video, go to actual video itself. I'll actually make sure that I put it in the actual comments as well. Go subscribe and listen to this, okay?
Talk about in this video. Number 1, the cost increase. Number 2, is the actual investment, meaning the 4 to 5 years and the money you spent into it, is the rate of return worth it? role college plays? Does it carry the same weight before? And how will it be disrupted? What's going to happen to the few colleges if they keep going the way they're going today? So let's get right into it. Okay, so today's sponsor to the video is Udemy. And if you don't know about Udemy,
now he's going through an actual sponsor itself. We won't go into it at all, period. But let's go right into this real fast. All right, guys. I want you to see exactly what he's talking about. Let's go.
Underwrite it. The first thing I always said is, would you underwrite this client with your own $2 million and risk that? And they would say, I don't know. I said, tell me why.
Let's go back. Because he actually asked a very valuable question, because he actually runs a financial services company. Okay, so let's go back to that. I want you to ask this question and begin asking this question yourself. Okay, understand his reasoning here. It makes perfect sense.
Yourself and being part of our team, you get a discount. So either click on the link above or below to go to Udemy and take one of those 3 courses, or search any other courses you'd like to take. So let me explain to you my concern from a perspective of being in the insurance industry and the financial industry 20 plus years. And my agents would come up to me and say, this client here, Patrick, wants a $2 million insurance policy. Will this insurance company underwrite it? The first thing I always said is, would you underwrite this client with your own $2 million and risk that? And they would say, I don't know. I said, tell me why. Well, the person's 62 years old. They smoke 2 packs a day. Mom died at 68. Dad died at 65. He's out of shape. He's 320 pounds, but he's got the money to buy it. I said, would you give them $2 million and allow them to buy it from me? He says, I probably wouldn't do it. I said, so why would the insurance company do it? Well, let's just see if they're going to do it or not. So you can submit it, but I don't think they're going to underwrite it, right?
Sure.
Pat, what are you saying? What's your point? Here's my point. So if college is so great and it's so worth paying the $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 per year, why don't private banks finance it?
Come on. Yeah, now for real. If this is so good, okay, not saying college is bad. I got to make sure I say that on repetition. And I'm saying that college is not bad. I have a college degree myself. But if it's so good as far as the financial system around it, why doesn't banks fund this? That's a phenomenal question.
Why is most of the financing being done by the government? And why isn't the government preventing these colleges from increasing the price? So every year college increases the tuition. The government's like, yeah, we'll finance it. Yeah, we'll finance it. Yeah.
So the government is funding this, unlimitedly funding this, without any type of price or cost barriers in place. That doesn't make sense at all. At all. If you're going to, if think about it, if a company has an unlimited amount of money as far as a blank check from the government, what's going to stop them from actually raising the prices? Nothing. It's simple logic.
Yeah, we'll finance it. And then when a kid who's 23 now and wants to file a BK, or 28 now, they'll be able to BK their credit card debt, their car loan, all this other stuff, but you're not able to BK your college.
BK meaning bankruptcy.
Loan? How? Why not? Well, who created that law? Well, the government did. How? Because colleges and government are officially in bed together. For every dollar that they loan out, tuition goes up 60 cents. For every...
Come on, y'all. This is math. That didn't make any fiscal sense, but they keep funding them.
Dollar. So universities are like, oh my gosh, loan more because I can increase my tuition. Loan more because I can increase my tuition. These politicians are confused the hell out of people in America talking about how private corporations are not paying enough taxes and all this other stuff. Really? Wait till you see how much these colleges have in their endowments, in their checking accounts. And on top of that, the fact that they pay zero in taxes and they have zero regulation on how much they can increase their prices. So maybe you ought to ask your politician in your community, if you're so worried about protecting these medicines that takes 5 cents to make and they're selling you for $100, how come you're not going out to college, calling out colleges and universities for charging as much as they do for 18-year-old kids to go into debt that they cannot afford, that they have to pay 20 years to pay off? Why don't we go hold some of these colleges accountable for paying this much in taxes? March Madness.
Okay. All right, guys. Come back to me. Come back. I'm going to come back to me real quickly, guys. Come on. For real. We're saying that the corporations are not paying their fair share, but you're saying that these colleges are paying zero in taxes and there's no regulations governing how much they can actually rise or raise their pricing on college tuition that's been funded by our tax dollars. That's a failing business system. Scam. Let's keep going. I gotta say what it is. It's a scam. I'm sorry. I smell a scam somewhere. I smell it. It don't smell good at all. Come on, let's keep it 100. Come on, y'all. Let's go back. Let's go back to the information.
You got football games, this much in taxes.
Zero.
Yet let's distract them and focus on these corporations that are creating jobs. And oh my gosh, they're not paying any taxes, which they're paying billions on top of billions in taxes. I think it's a fair question to ask. So now somebody may say, well, Pat, that's not fair. The way you're talking about is the fact that colleges, all they do is they sit on cash. Maybe they do. Let's look at their dollar amount. Here are 10 universities that have a minimum of $10 billion or higher in their endowment account, which is kind of like cash. And I'm going to compare how much cash they got versus some corporations. And I want to kind of get your reaction to see if you're okay with that. Let's go through it. Top 13, Cornell University, over 10 billion. Vanderbilt, over 10 billion. Emory University, 11 billion.
Wow.
Washington University in St. Louis, over 14 billion. Columbia, over 14 billion.
Wow.
Northwestern University, over 14 billion.
Wow.
University of Notre Dame, over 18 billion. University of Penn, over 20 billion. MIT, 27.
Wow.
Princeton, 37. Stanford, 37 billion. Yale, 42 billion. Harvard, ready? 53 billion. Now let's compare them to some corporations.
Before I go there, guys, I don't see any HBCUs on that list. Not one. Not one. It's a problem. Let's keep going, guys. I got to keep it 100 with you guys. I ain't seen that one HBCU on that thing. Those are Power 5 or Ivy League schools. Simple. Simple. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going.
And again, I really want to see your reaction. Comment below. If this gets you thinking and saying, how the hell is this even possible? Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Ready? Watch this. You ever heard of a company called McDonald's? You know how much they got in cash?
Watch this.
These greedy people. $2.3 billion.
Wow.
You ever heard of Starbucks? Massive. 420,000 employees.
Come on.
You know how much they got in cash? $3.8 billion. You ever heard of this company called Disney? You know Walt Disney? You know how much they got in cash? $16 billion.
Wow.
You ever heard of Tesla? This company Tesla, ran by this greedy guy. You know how much they got in cash? $18 billion.
Wow.
Ford, $36 billion.
Wow.
Coca-Cola, $36 billion. Pfizer, $51 billion. Even Meta, Facebook, has $54 billion.
Wow.
Only $1 billion more than Harvard. Are you
$1
okay
billion.
with that?
That's...
And we're so hardcore on these guys not paying any taxes. Yet colleges and universities, they literally pay zero taxes.
Guys, I'm smelling something smell real fishy. Smell real fishy. Come on, y'all. There's no dialogue about colleges paying their fair share. No dialogue at all. Nothing. Just nothing.
Okay. And they have the same amount of cash, if not more, by all these other corporations that are day-to-day competing. They have to compete every day, hiring, firing, enemies, competition, regulation, and universities regulation. Hey, keep funding it, guys, because the federal government's financing all the loans. Don't worry about it.
Come on, y'all. This is you can't make this. I'm gonna use my man Craig's information. He's just saying, Craig, I seen a check in the mail. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this up. Come on, man. This smells so bad, man. But you know what? I gotta give it to the colleges. This is a hustle. This is a hustle and a half, man. Real talk. I had to start me a college. Good God. I mean, you have no regulations and a blank check from the government. Good God, man. Sign me up.
It's all going to be all right. Are you okay with that? Does it make you think the way it makes me think? All right, so now that you got your blood flowing and you're kind of sitting out there saying, I had no clue this stuff is taking place, let's talk about average starting salary when you go to college. A kid goes to college. I'm willing to do everything you told me, counselor. I'll increase ACT, SAT. I'll take the honor. I'll take this. I'll take everything you said because I want to get in. Because you promised me when I get out, I'm going to get a fat salary. Do you know the average expectation of a college grad when they come out is to make $104,000? But do you know what the average college grad makes when they come out? $55,000.
Wow.
By the way, do you know the average computer science graduate that comes out, they're expecting to make $95,000. They're a little bit more realistic. And their average salary is $75,000. Watch this one. The ones that are the one that think they should make the most money and they make the least. Journalists get out of college thinking they should make $107,000. You know what's the average journalist salary when they get out of college after they went to Columbia and spent a couple $100,000? $45,000. That's the starting salary. Let me
Okay, let come back to me real fast, guys. I'm an investment guy. You know, I'm real estate development finance. I buy a lot of real estate. I own a lot of real estate. Not bragging. This is what it is. Whenever there's an investment, there should be a return on the investment. This is a question you got to ask yourself. Do you want to take out a loan, okay, to go to school, to get a degree, which is all great and wonderful? The question you got to ask yourself, are you getting the right rate of return for that risk of taking that loan out? Because you can't bankruptcy it. You got to pay it back. You got to ask yourself that question. Are you making a proper return on your investment for taking this risk? Because you got to pay it back. You ask yourself that question. Very simple. Let's keep going.
Let me give you some starting salaries you ought to be thinking about. Humanities, $50,000. Communications, $55,000. Agriculture, $57,000. Business, $60,000. Social science, $61,000. Math and science is $67,000. Engineering, $74,000. Computer science, $76,000. Do you get the idea? You want me to spend $200,000 to come out and compete in a marketplace after giving you 4 to 5 years of my life and I'm only making this kind of money? Was it really worth me spending the dollar there? Maybe it is. Maybe there's other things that we're not even talking about, which we will hear in a minute. So let's talk about evolution of education and why it was needed and how companies are going away from requiring 4-year degrees. And I'll actually give you some specific data.
Okay.
But here's what happened over the years. So
now he's talking about, okay, now what's going on real fast, guys, is he's saying you've seen the I'm going to say it scam, the scam really, let me change my word. It's the hustle. I mean, this is an incredible Hulk type of hustle that the colleges are doing, the rate of return that people are getting when it comes to coming out getting jobs. Now you're beginning to see how, since the quality of graduates are increasing, but the quality of the return that the companies are looking to get, because they are hiring these type of individuals to come out and work for them. You're beginning to see how companies are saying, "Hey, we want to begin to train our own, train the workers on our own, because the colleges are not giving us the rate of return that we need for these workers to come in and actually do the job that we actually want to employ them to do." It's real simple. Now they're going to see what's actually going on. Here we go.
We first started off with age of manufacturing in the 1900s. This is when companies like Ford, Boeing, GE, RCA came out, and companies started saying, look, man, we need people to be a little bit more educated.
There you
okay,
go.
Great. Universities are like, hey, we'll offer this, we'll offer that. And so companies said, it's better if we hire people that are going to college. So college was actually valuable because it was teaching things that you need to know at that time. Then we went to age of distribution. This is when Walmart came in, Toyota, Procter & Gamble, UPS. So they started saying, look, we definitely need, this is getting global, business is changing. We need some people to start having a little bit more experience. College is definitely more necessary. Then in 1990, age of information showed up. And Google, Yahoo, Comcast, Facebook. And the idea of memorizing stuff when you went to school was no longer valuable. Google screwed everything up when it came down to memorization, because how much does an average guy on Jeopardy make for memorizing all the stuff that they do? Tell me a billionaire on Jeopardy. What a great memory you got. It means nothing because I can answer it faster than you based on Google. 100% of people in the world are smarter than the smartest guy on Jeopardy because they got Google in their hands. Let me say that one more time.
You're spot on.
100% the average person in the world is smarter than the smartest person on Jeopardy because they got Google. Game over. So if you won Jeopardy 28 years ago, nobody cares today.
That's right.
Because the average 7-year-old can beat you because they got access to Google. YouTube. Right. If I want to learn how to do something, yes, 40 years ago, holy shit, I got to go find somebody that knows what they're doing.
That's right.
Today, YouTube, just get on there. You'll learn how to do everything you want to do. Pretty much everything you can learn how to do on YouTube. Those two.
What he's saying is so spot on, guys. What he's saying is so spot on. Let me bring it back to me real quickly here. What he's saying is that Google, specifically YouTube and other video platforms, is kind of replacing colleges, and people are actually going on YouTube or these video platforms and learning more by just looking at videos versus going into a college and sitting there. Now, I am not saying that college is a bad thing. Let me say that again for the folk in the back row. I'm not saying that college is a bad thing. What I'm trying to tell you is, let's begin to audit our thinking so that we can begin to make a good, wise decision. Okay? Don't just do what you are told. Vet what you're being told so that you understand that you are making the right decision. And all that you're getting, gain understanding. That's it. Let's keep going. We almost done. Let's keep going. Good information, great information. Let's go.
To change the game for education, and people started actually asking, is it still worth it? Then we went to age of customer, which is today, Uber, Airbnb, Amazon, Netflix, Apple. So some of these corporations sat there and said, wait a minute, is it that important for us to send kids to college and only focus on recruiting college kids? So look what happened to some of these companies. From 2017 to 2021, Orange shows how many of the people they were hiring had 4-year degrees. Red shows how many it is today. So 2017 is Orange, 2021 is today. Intel is requiring more people to have 4-year degrees today when they hire them.
That's right.
But look at Google. Google cares less about a 4-year degree today.
Wow.
Apple definitely cares less. Facebook is a little bit less. Microsoft is less. Accenture is less. And IBM is about the same as it was before. So what's the more?
These are Fortune 1000 companies. They're beginning to devalue or not value college degrees even more. This is real-time facts. Simple.
The story here. Corporations are sitting there saying, yeah, we used to require for you to have a 4-year degree. We don't require like we did before, because there's many other ways to get the education and the training that used to get only through colleges.
Man, they're killing it.
So top 10 companies that no longer require a 4-year degree. You ready? Google, Apple, Bank of America, Tesla, Netflix, IBM, Penguin Random House, Costco, Starbucks, Chipotle no longer sit there and say, we need a college degree like we did before. So let's keep going. Now somebody may say, Pat, I still think colleges are worth it. So let's talk about 5 reasons why people go to college and why, it's necessary for us to go. What is the real reason we go to college? Number one, the actual education we get, right? We're like, I'm going to go to, it's the actual education I get.
That's right. That's okay.
Ask the average person that went to college what they learned, what percentage of what they learned they can recite today. 4 years you went to college, what can you recite from what you learned in college? Tell me. And they'll sit there and say, well, I learned about this, I learned about that, I learned about this. Fine. A lot of it is memorization because our educational system.
I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I've used very little of what I've learned in college. I say very little because I've used some. Not a lot, but some, but very little. The amount of education that I actually have, the four or 5 years that I went to school, okay, because I did take a year off. So for 4.5 years that I went to school itself, I used very little of that education. Very little. That's it. Let's keep 100 with you guys.
System is still based a lot on memorization. And Finland University is being known right now as one of the best education in the world. They don't grade you on memorization. They grade you on actual processing because today, like I said earlier, nobody cares how smart you are to memorize because Google's a great equalizer. They want to know how you process issues, how you make decisions, watching how things are being done visually. That's the direction some universities, some countries are going to, and some in America are staying the same way, which is memorization. You better know the answers to these questions because you got 92%. Does that really apply in the day-to-day stuff? I took so many tests in my life. Ask me what I remember from these tests. I like problem solving. That's what helps, right? And that's
critical
what a lot
thinking.
of us do need. But the actual education part, you can go on Udemy and take a lot of those courses for a fraction of the cost you spend at university. So the cost comparison to what the actual education is, there's plenty of competition for it elsewhere. Number two, degree, diploma, the label, to be able to say, I actually got this degree from this university. Fine, maybe for pride, maybe for family went there, some parent went there, mom went there, dad went there. We got 4 generations of people that went to Stanford. I totally respect generation. Rituals, I totally respect all of that. Fine, do that part. But to be able to say the diploma, how many people sit there and say, can I see your actual diploma on what you got? certifications, plenty of different things that you can do nowadays to get that. But the diploma may be one of them. The third one may be the network. Matter of fact, I think the network is actually the most
It's most important. I
when
agree.
you go there. You're going to
I
meet
agree.
people.
I
That
agree with
part, no
that.
matter what people say, just go watch the movie Social Network. They sat there, they met all these guys, and they were able to recruit from each other and build a company together. That's a strong network.
I agree.
That one part I give high
Yes.
value
Yes.
if you go to the right place to build the right networks. But again, at the same time, you can spend $10,000 and go to the right business conference,
Yes,
spend a week
sir.
there, and still build a lot of strong relationships
Man.
at a great business conference in Europe, here, many different places that you can find those types of things. Number four,
Agree.
safety. It's the safety of if it doesn't work out, I got a backup plan. Anybody that did anything big in life that you and I read about, their mindset isn't a backup plan. Their mindset is, I'm going to go out there and go all in and make this thing work. So the backup plan is for those that are wanting to play it safe. You may want to change that mindset. Our entire system is built on getting people to think safe. And the entire system of big companies is built by people that weren't worried about that. So which one do you want to be? That's a decision more for you to make, not for me to make. And last but not least, freedom, independence. Hey, I can go out there and make as much money as I want to make and do all the stuff that I want to do. Fine. You just saw the numbers. Were you impressed by the average salary of people coming out? You may want to rethink this part about these 5 benefits that we always talk about when we go to college. You know what's one of the worst things that happened to universities in America? COVID. COVID exposed everything. Here's why. When COVID happened, universities being the most...
Again, COVID, guys, what it did, he's going to go into a little bit more detail. What it did was it actually exposed a lot of the business system. It exposed a lot of their online training, but it also forced people to actually begin to learn online from the house so that they don't have to go to the university. So it opened up the masses to a new way of learning. Now, a lot of individuals have been doing it already when it comes to YouTube and other video platforms, but now the universities were forced to have to do that now. But when it actually happened, you begin to see people saying, wait a minute, what's going on here? He's going to go right into that. Here we go.
Most responsible institutions out there, they shut down and they started doing everything with schooling through Zoom. Now, Harvard came out and they asked the question. They said, listen, Harvard, since I'm coming home and I'm not coming to the school and everything's based on Zoom, can you give us a discount? And Harvard said, nope. The stamp of approval when you get a degree from Harvard is very valuable. And because of that, you have to pay this much money. Perfect.
You see what that does is now what happens is you see that shift of learning platforms. And people now saying, well, I'm not going to Harvard, so why I have to pay the exact same amount of money that I actually have to pay if I'm actually going there? I'm actually learning from home. Harvard said our name is more valuable than how you're learning. So the question is that valuable to you? You got to answer that question.
Perfect. That got some people to think and say, wait a minute. Aren't one of the 5 benefits of going to Harvard and the institutions to network with other people and spend time with them?
There we go.
What happened to that? Wiped out. The biggest value of going to these universities is the people you network with is officially gone, and they still wanted you to pay full price, no discount, even though COVID was going on, which got people thinking, let me get this straight. If we are going to school at home on Zoom, why do I need to go to a school in the first place? It got people saying, maybe it's a big opportunity for us to disrupt the educational industry as a whole and come out with online courses. Maybe.
Do you see what's actually happened? COVID allowed for people to see holes in education. As far as when coming to the university, going to actual school itself, they showed holes in that model. Oh, this is good. Let's go.
Maybe we start, and everybody started innovating. A bunch of people started innovating, and it exposed another major leak in universities when COVID took place, knowing anybody and everybody can get educated, not necessarily needing to go to schools because I miss out on the opportunities of networking. If I still have to pay full price, I'm going to go elsewhere to get it done. So at this point, again, we've covered a lot of different things, but I want you to focus on one thing. Do you remember the 5 benefits we talked about earlier about going to college, education being one of them? And then we talked about the degree, the diploma, the network, safety, freedom, and independence. Well, let's go through each one of them. Education today, you can get anywhere, Udemy, online courses, YouTube. In regards to the diploma, we know it means nothing today. Why? Because the actual education, with the speed of innovation, they can't move at the speed of innovation. Their curriculum is behind 5-10 years, and it's constantly catching up. And we're moving faster, so that's out the window. You need to learn courses. Like, imagine reading a social media textbook from 9 years ago. Would it make any sense? That's how many of these universities have their textbooks and they can't catch up with the changes. Number 3, network. You're doing COVID. How are we going to network? You can network anywhere you go. Number 4 was safety, the fact that you have a plan B. If you want to live life with a plan B, you're probably going to be, missing out on a lot of big opportunities for yourself. And last but not least is being away from family. And hey, I kind of want my own independence. You can do that and go travel in Europe, get a job and live there for yourself and learn about different cultures. You can do that. So at this point of the game, you may be thinking, Pat, you must be 100% against college. Not at all. If you're doing STEM, science, technology, engineering,
there you go.
Mathematics, you got to go. If you want to be a doctor, you got to go to college.
Yes, you do.
I want you to go to school to know what you're doing when you're working on me or my family, right? As well as the law. If that's what you want to do, it's a niche. It does make sense to go there. This is not 100% against it. This is accountability for colleges for you to start asking a question saying, why are you charging this much?
Come on.
If it was this much, I could justify sending my kids, but my income hasn't increased that much in the last 42 years. Why are you increasing that 1,200% when my income's only increased at 217%?
Come on.
That's what I want you to be thinking about. And then at the same time, you have to say, well, listen, I can't afford to send them. They're great. You got to make some choices. So here's 7 alternatives.
Come on, here we go. Solutions.
One of them is vocational education and trade schools. There's a lot of places you can go to learn trades that's paying very well. $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 your income. Plumbing, there's coding, there's a lot of different trade schools you can go to. Number 2 is shadowing. Go shadow somebody you respect in your community that's doing very good.
Mentorship.
In an industry that you're considering. Watch how he or she works. Watch how they negotiate.
Apprenticeship.
Watch how they are on a daily basis at the office, in work, whatever they're doing. Shadowing be number 2. Number 3, entrepreneurship. Start a business with a couple of your friends. You may fail. It may not work out. You may end up losing $10,000, $20,000. It's a lot better than losing $200,000.
Yes, sir.
One thing, when you do start a business, you will learn more starting a business in 6, 12 months than you will going to school for 4 years, because there's things that happen in business that no 4-year degree is going to teach you. Next is online courses or free classes on YouTube. There's plenty of content on YouTube. A guy asked me a question the other day. He says, Pat, for the last 8 years, all I've done is watch all the how-tos on valuetainment, and I have a notebook. He showed me his notebook. Every single how-to video we've ever shot up, he had taken notes. He says, this has helped me get his business, was doing 11 million a year. He went from 0 to 11 million a year. He says, just simply following the content here, and it's free. Online courses, Udemy, plenty of courses to get to learn what to do for yourself. Next, military. Yeah, I was just telling Eric here, who was in the Marines before, I would not be the person I am today without the military. In the military is when I learned how to work 80 hours a week, team, crisis management, all of that, because that's what the military is all about, especially for some of you that are undecided. You're going to have the time of your life. You're going to travel. You're going to get your butt kicked. Someone's going to challenge you nonstop. You're going to come back being in better shape. And you will be able to handle teams and pressure. That's what military provides you. And a couple last ones. Work your way up. Go to a company. Work from the bottom. Bring value. Keep improving.
That's
be
right.
Willing to be challenged and constantly improve your game. And eventually you'll be able to work your way up in a company. And last but not least, online college. These universities, many of them are now having to teach online courses, online colleges, and it's a quarter of the cost. Many great universities are coming out and they're offering this. If you can't afford or don't want to pay the $150,000, $200,000, $250,000 to some of these schools, go find plenty of online colleges that will help you take courses and classes at a fraction of a cost. So if this video got you...
All right, guys. Come back to me real quickly, guys. I wanted to share that with you guys because I think that with the rising cost of goods and housing when it comes to rents and groceries and cars because of inflation, due to inflation, because a lot of the policies itself, it's important for us to begin to audit where our money is going to. Where is it going to? If you don't give your every dollar a job, what's going to happen is it's going to cheat on you. And so I thought it'd be wise for us to kind of look into this thing when it comes to schooling, to say, let's really look at the financial system and the business system of colleges, guys, and begin for you to begin to make a reasonable decision. Now, if you're an attorney, a doctor, a niche type of education, yes, you're going to need to go to some form of schooling to get training, because we want the best in that area. So if you think you need college, man, go ahead and go to college. No problem with it at all. In the video, you saw that Countermove, which is the solutions that Patrick talked about concerning other options that are different for people that may not want to go to college, guys. Look at this thing, lean into it, go right into it, guys. So again, I think, be honest with you, my opinion concerning college, it's great for those that actually want to go there. Great, you have a niche, but at the exact same time, man, you have to really begin to audit. Is it wise for you to take on the risk of $100,000 or $200,000 worth of student loan debt that you cannot bankrupt at all? You got to pay it back. You got to pay it back, okay? And is that type of risk or an investment that you're going to be making at the college yielding a return that is going to be conducive for you to live a successful life with the rising cost of goods? The only person to answer that question is you. So, guys, thank you for your time on this Countermove, guys. Hope this added a lot of value to you guys. We see you next time, next Thursday, for the Countermove, guys. We're going to lean in again to another issue that's for us to begin to look at and reason together and come up with proper solutions. Thank you, guys. Have a good day now. Bye now. Starting the business, one of the most important things is the name, which shakes hands with the brand. I was reading John 3:16. That's when the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, 316 Capital. We are a real estate development and finance company. Also, the advice that I would give to somebody that is looking to start their own business, don't be afraid to jump out there. Don't be afraid to be mentored by someone that may know more than you may know, because business is a team sport. For the first 2 or 3 years, it was a little bit of a struggle because you're trying to find your footing in the real estate marketplace. Once I found my niche, it took about 3 to 5 years to go from zero to right now. We manage probably around like 15 to 20 million dollars worth of real estate. The goal is never the destination; it's the journey. I think Kobe Bryant said that. What made him so great was he said, "I never focused on winning the 5 championships. I focused on the journey to winning the 5 championships. Mastering skills throughout the journey, I will naturally automatically get to the destination. Automatically." I am Liddell Bugs with 316 Capital, and I'm an entrepreneur.